Hi, welcome to Straight from the Word. I'm Ivan Davenport. Thank you for joining me for this presentation. Today, we're going to begin a study in the book of Leviticus. But before we get started, I'd like to let you know that I welcome your comments and questions, so feel free to contact me and give me some feedback. Leviticus takes its name from the Latin title of the book. It means about Levites. The Levites were the tribe of Israel from which its priests were drawn. The Levites, or priests, were responsible for maintaining Israel's worship facilities and practices. Leviticus is primarily about worship and wants fitness for worship. It was not written solely for the Levites or priests, but it was written for all of the Israelites. It contains detailed instructions about how to offer sacrifices and how to enter the presence of God in worship. Let's begin our study answering the question, who wrote Leviticus? Well, most scholars agree that Leviticus was written by Moses. Leviticus is one of the first 5 books of the Bible. Together, these books are known as the Pentateuch. The internal character of Leviticus, how it is structured, is similar to the internal character of the rest of the Pentateuch, suggesting that all 5 books have the same source. References in both the Old and New Testament claim that source to be Moses. So, when was Leviticus written? Well, the book itself never states exactly when or how it was written, and so there's some uncertainty as to the precise date. Some scholars believe that it was written while the Israelites wandered in the wilderness prior to Moses' death around 1406 BC. Other scholars claim that Leviticus was written in the era after Israel's exile, around the 6th century BC, many centuries after Moses. However, this view is improbable. The content of Leviticus does not fit in with other writings known to be from that period. Also, earlier books, such as Deuteronomy, Amos, and Ezekiel, all presuppose or quote from Leviticus. Next, let's discuss some of the characteristics and themes of Leviticus. Leviticus reflects the ideas of worship and holiness that were accepted in Israel from the time of Moses to the fall of Jerusalem in 587-586 BC. As we read Leviticus, we, with our modern way of thinking and doing things, our imaginations may be challenged trying to understand the ancient symbols and rituals described in its pages. But understanding Leviticus is important for 2 reasons. The first is that the rituals and symbols expressed in Leviticus serve to teach us about what this society held most dear. So then, by reading Leviticus, we can learn about what was most important to Old Testament Israelites. The second is that these same ideas were foundational for the writers of the New Testament. The concepts of sin, sacrifice, and atonement found in the book of Leviticus are used by the New Testament writers to interpret the death of Christ. The rituals and symbols of Leviticus, while often obscure to us, are central to the Old Testament way of thinking. There was no need for Moses to explain these rituals and symbols to his contemporaries. Every single Israelite knew why a specific sacrifice was offered on a particular occasion or what a certain gesture meant.